Jackson Thompson.
Jim Cavalier.
Are they on mute?
We can't hear them.
We're unmuted. We can't see them or hear
Oh, we can see them.
Our first remote location this morning is at Louisiana State Penitentiary. So would the staff at Angola please introduce yourself for the record?
Deputy Warden Rochelle Ambo.
Reginald Admiral classification.
Harmon Shipley, Vendor Records.
Jody Sturgeon, Program Consultant.
Okay, thank you. Thanks for hosting us this morning. And our first case there at Angola is Mr. Jacobs. Good morning, Mr. Jacobs.
Good morning.
Would you introduce yourself, sir? Tell us your name and your DOC number.
My name is ZZEUNDRE Jacobs. My DOC number is 447048.
Yes, sir. Mr. Jacobs, I'm going to read some identifying information into the record. But first, let me recognize we do have some folks here today. In support, we have Malcolm Matthews and Chris Williams, who'll be speaking on your behalf. I believe they're there with you in Angola.
Yeah.
Here with us in New Orleans, we have representing the victim, Jamie Alexander, Yolanda Anders, Roger Dawkins, Roderick Dawkins, DeWanda Dawkins, and also the District Attorney, Mr. Philip Terrell. And for those who've indicated they'd like to speak, we'll call on them at the appropriate time. First, let me read the identifying information, then I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Tillis because your case has been assigned to him this morning. So, Mr. Jacobs, you're classified as a third felony offender. You're currently serving a 60-year sentence. You were sentenced April 11, 2006 in Rapides Parish as a habitual offender for manslaughter. You have a parole eligibility date, which was September 7, 2025, and you have a good time release date, October 13, 2064. Is that information correct?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, and I do see we have Mr. Kerry Myers with the Parole Project on Zoom as well. Mr. Tillis?
Okay.
I did.
Okay. Good morning, Mr. Jacobs. How are you?
All right, sir. Real grateful this morning.
Good. Could you tell us why you're incarcerated and what caused you to be incarcerated? And why should we vote to in your favor, please?
Yes, sir. Well, always been my problem. I used to try to, I guess I can say, escape from myself, from my fears of my infidelities, not really knowing what was going to happen next in my life, the trouble, the bad decisions and choices I was making, starting from suspension from school to just straight out quitting, accidents, spending unnecessary finances, the trouble with the law, jumping from job to job, just a lot of chaos and confusion, and my anger. And my anger was angry because I knew I had the potential to do better and be better. But my irrational thinking at that time made me feel as if I was a failure and unable to talk to anyone because I didn't trust anyone and I didn't want to appear weak. So I self-medicated. I drank, I smoked weed, I popped pills, trying to avoid those feelings. And the only thing I was doing was really harboring the pain. And depression sits in, so I began to isolate myself, Some days I didn't want to be around anyone, talking to anyone. Some days I did. Then eventually, after holding all that negative energy in, the worst thing that could possibly happen happened.
What was that?
I ended up taking the life of this beautiful and innocent woman, all because I was unable to manage my life. For a long time, for a while, I'll say, I fought with the fact that I had taken a human life. The incident haunted me for years. I continued to get high while incarcerated, still trying to escape the reality of what I had done. But the remorse always come back. What I wanted was to find peace with myself. So after trying on my own unsuccessfully, I asked for help. The serenity prayer states, God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. By me allowing my life to become unmanageable, I took a human life. And I cannot change that. So I had to learn to accept it. But I was able to change from the person that I was.
Is that it?
No, sir. I'm sorry. I took a human life. And by doing so, I caused unimaginable and permanent pain to the victim's family, friends, and community. There's no excuse for my action. I take full and complete responsibility for them. My time here at Angola has been about one central goal: to ensure that the person who committed that terrible act is not the same person sitting before you today. My rehabilitation was my primary focus. I want to make sure my time spent was not time wasted. And even though I had an addiction problem, and addiction is a horrible disease, our lives are still predicated or determined by the choices we make. And on September the 5th, 2005, I made the worst choice imaginable. So instead of continue making these bad choices, I knew it was time for me to make some right choices. So that's when I got myself involved in different programmings, and surrounded myself around positive individuals, stopped using, and was able to share and trust with people. I also have a decent disciplinary record, 4 write-ups in 20 years. I think that shows I'm able to live within a set of rules and conduct myself with respect. I also have held the same job for over 16 years, which shows I can maintain employment. If released, I plan on living a quiet, productive, and lawful life. Plan on working to help support my family any way they may need, because they've always been there for me. I understand my freedom is a privilege and not a right. And I will not violate that trust you place in me. I'm not asking you to forget my crime. I live with the memory of it every day. But I wanted you to see that I have worked towards reform or rebuilding myself. And even though I can never bring Teresa back, I will spend the rest of my life proving to you that your decision to grant me a second chance was not a mistake. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We're gonna come back with some more questions, but, Warden, can you, tell us anything about Mr. Jacobs, please?
Yes, Mr. Jacobs is a minimum aid trustee. He's assigned to graphic design. Like he said, he had a total of 4 DB reports his whole time here, the last one being in 2017. He has a degree in graphic communication. He has taken Cage Your Rage, Substance Abuse, 100 Hours, Inside Out Dad, Thinking for a Change. He did the Victim Awareness Accountability Letter. He participated in the STAR Substance Abuse Program. He just finished that on June 30th of 2025. He has a GED. He participated in a New Men Sober Group, and he also participated in 12 Steps Alcoholics Anonymous. We have had no problems here with Mr. Jacob. He has been a model inmate.
How long has he been a trustee?
He has been a trustee since 2014.
Thank you so much, Warden.
You're welcome.
Yeah, we'll, next, before we continue with our interview with Mr. Jacobs, we're going to hear from his supporters. Could we hear first from Mr. Malcolm Matthews?
Yes, my name is Malcolm Matthews. I'm from West Monroe. I speak today in support of Xandre at his parole hearing. I want to thank him for the honor of asking me to do this, and I also want to thank the board for listening to me today. I also want to thank the board for the tireless work you do in fairly deciding on the merits of cases that come before you. I have known Xandre since last August, which is not a long time, but we met face to face today for the first time, actually. However, since August, our communications have been steady, sincere, and open. He's been part of the fellowship that I helped facilitate that serves as an outreach to 100 men here at Angola and other satellite prisons, as well as one woman at the Women's Institute. We mail out sermon notes each week from Dr. Patrick Mead of our Safe Harbor Church in Tennessee. Xandre has been an active participant since day one, beginning in August, communicating his questions and comments. And he and I have talked also recently on the phone quite often. So I feel close to him, and I'm thankful I got to meet him today finally. Xandre was recommended to me, and this stands out to me because he was recommended by a mutual good friend of ours, Mr. Milton Williams, who himself last December 3rd was granted parole here in this same room and has his release, it was released from Angola. Milton and I speak almost daily. He told me that Xandre is one of the best men he knew while he was incarcerated here at Angola. And then he further went on to say that of every man that he knew in prison who also knew Xandre, every one of them had high regard for Z. I include that in my comments today because it speaks volumes to me that if he's held in such esteem where he is now, it stands to reason in my mind that he can carry that trait outside the wires of the prison and into society when he's released. Early on, Xandre expressed to me, as he's expressed already this morning here, his remorse for the needless loss of Ms. Dawkins' life that he caused, and for the accompanying grief that has been ongoing for so many of her friends, her family, and his family and friends. He had a serious alcohol problem which contributed to the downward spiral of his life. He's talked about that. But he realizes and states that alcohol did not commit the crime. He committed the crime. take her life. And he faces that fact and owns responsibility for what happened. I'm in possession of his impressive packet of certificates of training and self-help classes that he's completed. And I know you have it too. I feel like he has used his time well and has redeemed his time well and redeemed himself as a human being. I think he's faced his demons and sought help to keep them out of his life going forward. And upon release, since alcoholism was a problem for him, upon release, he plans to join and maintain active attendance and participation with AA or Celebrate Recovery or a similar program to that to address that problem. So he can help himself and also help others in that same program. He and I had an instant rapport in that I'm a retired graphic designer, and that's what he's done at the prison for so many years, working in the area of graphics and signage and various projects. He's worked for the state DMV signage, municipality street signage, law enforcement decals, uniforms, t-shirts, as well as logo designs. These were done for several state agencies, police departments, and universities. In the area of logo design, he recently designed the STAR program, which has been mentioned already here at Angola, and the design was then adopted at the state level. And he's got that logo on his shirt today. I thought that was cool that he wore that shirt with the STAR logo that he designed. He wants to remain in that vocation upon his release. To that end, I offer him my name as a reference for entrance into schooling or employment after his release. He wisely, however, tells me that wisely he has taken other training. I think a commercial driver's license and some other training that he's completed to be job options as backups should that primary plan and graphics not work out immediately for him. So he's got his backups, and I think that's smart. So I plead for you to consider the accomplishments of this good man and the changes he has made toward a good life and service to others, and vote unanimously to grant his parole today. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Matthews. We appreciate hearing from you. Mr. Williams, Chris Williams.
Yes, ma'am. How y'all doing this morning?
Good, thank you.
All right. My name is Chris Williams. I'm speaking on behalf of my longtime friend, ZZEUNDRE Jacobs. I know him as Tootie. That was his nickname, whom I know for over 40 years. He has been a close friend since I was 9 or 10. From a young age, ZZEUNDRE stood out as someone who was quiet, intelligent, and dependable. He had his way of figuring out things, and whatever problems we had, we can go to him and he gave us some sound advice. He naturally became the leader of the group, and I looked up to him. Usually the quiet one always be the one that you just stand out with you in the back, but he was in the front, but he was the quiet one. As we grew older, ZZEUNDRE continued to set a positive example. He was the first among us to learn how to drive. He was the first to get married. And personally, I witnessed how well he cared and took care of his family and his kids. He always worked hard and consistently held a job, taking pride providing for those who depended on him. One moment stuck with me and what he did for me. I needed $100 to secure my first car. The bank was closed. I couldn't get nowhere to get money, but I thought about my friend. I asked ZZEUNDRE, can I borrow $100? Because of course he had a job. He said, with no hesitation, he let me borrow it. He always was a hard worker. The act of kindness meant more to me, probably did I realize the type of person he always was. Since incarcerated, ZZEUNDRE and I speak almost every Sunday. Our conversation, we focus on family, friends, and our kids, and the plans for his future. He speaks with hope and determination. He has shared his desire to pursue his career in graphic design or obtain a CDL license driving trucks. More than anything, he looked forward to reuniting with his family and being present for his 3 kids and his grandchildren. I truly believe he has grown to change for the better. He has a strong support from his family and friends, and he will continue to have strong support from us when he returns home. As a friend for 4 decades, I respectfully ask you to find in your hearts to grant Xandre Jacobs a second chance. I believe he will use the opportunity to live responsible, productive, and a positive life. God bless.
Thank you, Mr. Williams.
Thank
Could we hear from the Parole Project, please?
Good morning, Kerry Myers with Louisiana Parole Project. Here from Mr. Jacobs. Parole Project has accepted Mr. Jacobs as a client based on his institutional record. That includes job stability, 16 years on the job, 10 years of trustee status. He earned his GED, as you've heard, his disciplinary record, his participation in STAR as a new men volunteer mentor, his 330 hours of CTRP credit. He's just demonstrated what Parole Project is about, and that's the capacity for people to change. So should this board grant his parole today, we will provide him the transitional services that someone who served 20 years in prison is needing when they return. That is going to include transitional housing, programming, life skills, financial evaluations by our social workers for his substance abuse and recommendations to be followed upon that. We will assist him in placing in any AA or other programs that he can join. So based on that institutional record, Parole Project asks this board to consider granting his parole today into our program.
Thank you. Thank you. We appreciate the work that the Parole Project does. Now we'll move on and hear from the opposition. And we have Ms. DeWanda Dawkins who'd like to say a few words. Amanda?
Good morning. I am Amanda Andrus. I am Miss Teresa's daughter-in-law, but I also, before I was her daughter-in-law, I grew up with her, so I knew her. I'm here to strongly oppose his release from prison, as I do believe he does not deserve the opportunity for parole or to re-enter society. Teresa Dawkins was a beloved mother, grandmother, sister, aunt, and friend. Her murder has left an inconsolable mark on all of our lives. She was a kind and caring woman who dedicated her life to her family, and her loss is deeply felt by her 5 children, 13 grandchildren, and 2 great-grandchildren. The pain of her absence is something we carry every day, a void that can never truly be filled. Her death is also profoundly affected her brothers, sisters, nieces, nephews, and cousins who continue to mourn her loss and the life cut short. The trauma and grief we experience are compounded by the fact that her murderer remains a threat to society, and his potential release would cause further pain and suffering for all who loved her. While I acknowledge the importance of rehabilitation and second chances, I believe that justice for Teresa and her family requires that he remains incarcerated. The impact of his actions is irreversible, and I sincerely hope that the parole board considers the lasting harm done by his crime. Thank you for allowing me to share my heartfelt feelings on this matter.
Thank you for sharing those feelings. I think we'll hear from the DA now, Mr. Terrell.
Good morning, members of the parole board. Philip Terrell on behalf of the state of Louisiana, was Teresa Dawkins and the surviving victims. On September the 9th, 2005, Mr. Jacobs took the life of Teresa Dawkins. On that date, the Alexandria Police Department was called to the Alexandria Zoo. An employee reported finding a pool of blood, some female clothing that was torn, and some money. The APD officer examined the same and asked to view video surveillance. Detectives were called out to the scene, and the video showed a dark-colored vehicle arrive between a zoo building and a male exit the vehicle. Next, a female walked around to the front of the vehicle and fell to the ground. She got up but fell again. Then the male was seen dragging the female by her legs back to the car and placing her in the trunk of the car. Another APD officer was patrolling near Gene Ball Drive, which is some distance away from the Alexandria Zoo, about 5 o'clock on the morning of the 6th. And he saw a car that he thought was being operated suspiciously. Slow down, speed up. And so he got behind it and was able to get the license number, but that APD officer received a call of a burglary in process, so he had to leave and go to that. Got enough of the information off the license plate number for the detectives to trace it back to another person who told the detectives that Mr. Jacobs was allowed to use it, that particular vehicle. Then when the detectives contacted Mr. Jacobs the next day, he confessed to murdering Miss Dawkins and trying to attempt to secret her body on Gene Ball Drive in Alexandria. His statement to the detectives is particularly telling in this as to his motive. I don't know what came over me. I just had the urge to kill her. And the way he said he killed her was that he stabbed her several times as she was trying to run away from him. He caught up with her, stabbed her some more, beat her with a pistol about the head, and then shot her twice. Mr. Jacobs has had other run-ins with the law, as evidenced by the fact that he was adjudged a habitual offender, and he pled to that as well. Mr. Jacobs was convicted, had a violent juvenile record. Mr. Jacobs was convicted of DWI 1, 2, and 3. Mr. Jacobs was convicted, pled guilty to prior to this incident, to a previous attempted murder. So he didn't get it right the first time, but he tried it, but he did the second. We are all about second chances. The habitual offender bill that he pled to says at the bottom, without benefit of parole, probation, or suspension of sentence. Got 60 years for that concurrent with his manslaughter. He pled to all those things. There is a contract between these victims and the state of Louisiana. We promised them that we would send him to prison for 60 years, and we did. And I would submit, ladies and gentlemen, that it would be absolutely unfair to these fine people who weren't, one of them who works for the Department of Corrections. She was 14 years old when her mother was murdered. She didn't have a chance. Miss Teresa Dawkins didn't have a second chance, and these folks here did not have a chance to be with them. As to Mr. Jacobs' substance abuse, there are millions and millions of alcoholics throughout the world who don't commit any crimes, much less a murder and an attempted murder. He referred to the Serenity Prayer. Also, one of the tenets of any appropriate substance abuse treatment, particularly AA and NA, is that the person working in that program, the member of that program, must accept responsibility for their actions. He was given a responsibility for his action, that action 60 years. So I don't want to belabor, y'all familiar with the facts. This is not This is not a drug case or a simple burglary. This is a murder by a person who attempted to commit a murder before and went to prison for 7 years on that. So what I would submit that for purposes of public safety, I would also submit that because what I feel like is a compact that the system and our office made with these folks, that he remain in prison. Thank you very much for listening to me. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr. Terrell. All right, Mr. Tillis, you want to continue your interview?
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know. Was there anybody else that needed to speak? I think not. Go ahead.
Mr. Jacob, how old were you when this crime happened?
31.
You were 31. We see, and I saw where you took a lot of classes. Which one impacted you the most?
I'd have to say the STR program. And the reason being, early in the morning, Ms. Laura would do something called a check-in. She'd go around the group and ask everyone how they was feeling. And it gave you the opportunity to state, how you were feeling, and if you had something on your mind to release it or whatnot. And I thought that was a good thing because as we go through our day-to-day and interact with one another, we always see the exterior of a person, the outside. We never really know what's going on the inside of a person. Some may look good on the outside, but it may be, tore up on the inside. The way you think, how you feel determines how you think. And how you think will determine the actions brought on by those feelings, whether they're good or bad. And I thought that exercise was real good because it taught communication, trust, and it helped build empathy. Because you were able to empathize with the next person. And I for one, started doing a daily check-in on myself because I knew how the effects of holding in those bad feelings, what it can do, what it can lead to. So it's good to share, and how you do that is by trusting someone, and you build that by communication.
Thank you. At what time I think you stated it earlier, what time did you realize when you were incarcerated that you needed to change your life?
Around in 2008. Well, I knew earlier when I was first incarcerated, is the reality of what I had done. The murder was just eating me up. That's why I was continuing to get high. But around 2008 is when I really came around and just cut ties on everything.
And that's when you started trying to rehabilitate yourself to change your life, to do better?
Yes, sir. Really got focused on it. I had started in 2007 when I first got my GED, but that's when I really got focused in 2008.
I see where you had a lot of classes. If you were released, what would you do? Where would you go? Where would you live?
Well, I was planning on staying in Baton Rouge, but I have down for stay with my mother in Rapid Parish, but I was trying to see if I could stay on longer with the parole board until financially able to get my own spot, because that's where I really would prefer to be in Baton Rouge. But I plan on taking an online course to get my bachelor's degree in graphic design. That's where I can work from home and self-employment if possible. I haven't gotten my CDL. I plan on getting my CDL when I get out, because I believe we never have too many options. But I also plan on finding an age group to sell into, to continue my recovery, and any other support group that I might come across that can help in my situation, or or that I might can help.
Okay, you've done well. Any of my colleagues have any questions?
Mr. Prater?
No, I don't have any questions.
I have a couple of questions,
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Jacobs. At the time of this crime, were you married?
Yes, ma'am.
And what was your relationship with Miss Dawkins?
Oh, I didn't know her. I didn't know her.
You didn't know her.
No, ma'am.
And had you been in the drug court program previously?
Yes, ma'am. I got in there in 2003, and I had just finished in 2005, April 2005, I think it was.
Yeah, so you completed drug court.
Yes, ma'am.
And then,
But at the time,
you continue doing the same behavior in terms
yes,
of
ma'am.
your
That was what I was
substance
about to.
abuse.
That's what I was about to tell you. I wasn't ready to stop. I was still with the foolishness.
So at what point in your incarceration did you come to terms with what you did? Because you still really haven't told us what you did. We heard from the DA and we heard
Yes,
from
ma'am.
Ms. Dawkins' family, but, and I don't want you to say it now, but I'm just wondering why you weren't real forthcoming about what you really did.
Oh, well, I thought you was, when you first asked about what led up to it, that's why I was going into that there.
Well, yeah, that was helpful too, but you never said what you did. Let's
Yes,
move
ma'am.
on. So, the warden said you did the victim accountability program. What
Yes,
did you
ma'am.
get out of that?
Well, I learned about the empathy more than anything what stood out the most, and that's dealing with to me, I do a lot of people trusting me to come to me when they have their problems or whatnot, and listening to someone share their feelings, and also being able to share your feelings, to help build empathy. So that's the main thing I was.
Good. So what do you think? Have you had any victim impact training?
Meaning kind of.
Victim aware and accountability letter. You didn't have anything.
Yes, I'm confused with the question, the victim impact.
Yeah, that's a little different.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry,
What
ma'am.
was
No,
the impact on what in your mind was the impact on your victim and the surviving family members?
I know for a fact I heard him. I know that's why I said it was a irreparable and permanent pain. I know that's a pain that would never go away. And that's why I say that I mean, now I cannot change that there. That's why person I am now, I've changed from that person who committed that horrible act,
Okay. All right.
You know,
Well,
I killed her. I'm very sorry for that. I'm completely sorry. But the person who done that is not the same person sitting here right now.
I believe that. All right. Thank you. Any other questions? All right. I don't see any other questions, so I think we're prepared to vote. Mr. Tillis?
Mr. Jacob, I see a lot of change in you, and I see some remorsefulness, and you're on a good path. I'm impressed. But you've done 20 years of a 60-year crime, and due to law enforcement and family opposition, my vote today is going to be to deny.
Mr. Prater?
I concur.
Mr. Jacobs, I too believe that you have a path forward. You're doing the right things. But based on what we've heard here today and the length of time you have served is insufficient. My vote today is to deny your parole. But I want to encourage you to stay the course, continue doing community service within your little prison environment, and reapply whenever you're eligible to do so. Good luck to you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, yeah, we're on. All right, we have, our next case is Mr. Fuller. Good morning, sir.
Good morning,
Would you introduce yourself? Tell us your name and DOC number.
James Fuller, 416114.
All right, thank you. And you have counsel with you today. Good morning.
Yes, ma'am.
Morning, Mr. Knott. So Robert Lancaster, here on behalf of Mr. Fuller with the LSU Parole and Reentry Clinic.
And we also have, is Camilla Valenzuela there also?
She's not in the room. She's meeting with another client, Ms. Renanza.
Okay, thank you. So we have there at Angola in support, April Rodman, Mr. Fuller's sister, a brother Jason, his mother, Miss Barbara Fuller, sister Delshonda Fuller, and another brother, Robert Washington. On Zoom, you'll see we have Ron Hicks, and also here with us, we have the Parole Project, Mr. Andrew Hunley, who will be speaking in support. At the DOC headquarters in Baton Rouge, which is usually where we are located, there is a room full of support. We have Taronda Woodard, Carl Garrett Davis, Chandrika Diggs, Terrence Wynn, Dwayne Jett, I believe they're all with pipes. Promise of Justice, Sarah Gonzalo, Michael Cahoon, and also Kara Crutcher, an attorney who are there in support. And for those who've indicated they want to speak, we'll call on them at the appropriate time and we'll allow them to do so. First, Mr. Fuller, I'm going to read some identifying information into the record and ask you to verify if it's correct.
Yes, ma'am.
So you are classified as a first felony offender.
Yes, ma'am.
You had a resentencing date in Caddo Parish in October of 2016 on a second-degree murder conviction. You're serving a life sentence with the eligibility of parole. So you were resentenced in 2016 to give you the parole eligibility. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
So the parole eligibility date is December 6, 2020. Is that your understanding?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And so I'm sure Mr. Lancaster has explained the process, but your case has been assigned to me. So I'm going to ask you a couple of questions. We'll hear from the warden and those who are in favor and support. And we'll hear from Mr. Lancaster, and then we'll have some more questions for you after everybody speaks. So first, just tell us why you're in jail.
I'm incarcerated because as a 17-year-old kid, I made a decision as a kid to first disrespect my mama. She woke me up for school one morning and she thought I was going to school. And I skipped school, took over from girls' house. In the process of me skipping school, I got with a friend named Xandre Williams. And I took him with me. We were doing drugs, smoking weed, and we supposed to have been going over some girl's house. And in the process of us going over some girl's house, Mr. Willie Graham, lost his life because of a decision I made to first skip school and then hang with him. Mr. Willie Graham lost his life because of that. And I'm responsible for that. Because if I wouldn't have did that, Mr. Willie Graham would have never lost his life like that. And to the victim, everybody that he left behind. And I'm sorry. I know I was a kid then. I know I was young. Man, I am so sorry. And I know I can't change that. If I can breathe life back into Mr. Willie Graham, I would in a heartbeat. And I know I can't. But I just want to say, man, I'm so sorry for the mistakes I made as a kid. I know I made mistakes in life. I know I didn't make the right decisions all the time. I made a lot of them. Even here, since I've been incarcerated, I didn't always do the right thing. For the life that was taken and me being responsible for that, I'm so sorry. But that's why I'm incarcerated on this murder charge.
Okay, we'll have some more questions for you in a little bit. Could we hear from the Parole Project, please?
Good morning, Andrew Hunley with Louisiana Parole Project. Here to confirm that James Fuller is a client of our organization. We've been working with him several years. I know his attorneys provided a brief and we'll give testimony later about his accomplishments. I can tell you our organization's committed to his reentry in the event that he is released based on his institutional record. We believe that all he has done, especially the programming that he started before he was parole eligible, before Miller and Montgomery, he started that track towards rehabilitation. It wasn't always a straight path, but he started it long before he was ever parole eligible. And even whenever he was denied parole, he continued to take additional programming. And he is a leader within the prison today. We can tell you that he recognizes that the best reentry plan isn't to reside in Caddo Parish, based on that's where he caused considerable harm. Parole Project's willing to take him into our reentry program in the Baton Rouge area and give him long-term residence as he works towards his reentry in the Baton Rouge area and not to return to a residence in Caddo Parish. If he's released to us, in addition to housing, we commit to long-term case management. As the board's aware, our organization has done the bulk of the reentry for Louisiana's juvenile lifers, and by and large, they've been ultimately successful, and we've been able to create a community of support for him based on his employable skills and the age he is now. We feel like this is the point where he can be released. He's still young enough to start a career, earn, and work towards self-sufficiency. In short, our organization's committed to provide long-term case management and support if he is granted release by this board today, and I stand by for any questions you may have about his reentry plan. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Mr. Hicks, Ron Hicks, please.
Good morning to this honorable board. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak on behalf of Mr. James Fuller. I have known James for many, many years and seen how his life has been in a transition of growth from a perspective of understanding where he went wrong at in his life and trying to make the right decisions and put himself in the right place to get the help needed to be rehabilitated. Mr. Fuller, I consider him as my spiritual son. I've provided spiritual encouragement to him, spiritual counseling, heart-to-heart felt talks about how to move forward, how to be the person that God created him to be. And through those conversations that I've had over the years with Mr. Fuller, I've seen the progress that he's made. He's completed successfully a lot of the DOC-approved programs within the prison. These programs address rehabilitation. They address personal responsibility. They address positive decision-making, which is very reflective in Mr. Fuller's package, which Mr. Lancaster will talk about later. He's just demonstrated growth, continual growth, not growth and then stop, but a continual process of growing as an individual with the understanding that he can't undo the things that he's done, but he can be a person that can help shape the lives of other people in the future. Not only did Mr. Fuller take these programs, but now Mr. Fuller is also providing, as a facilitator, guidance with other inmates, bringing them through the programs that was so helpful to him to get on the right path and understand the destructive nature that he once exhibited. Now being a more productive person, Mr. Fuller is guiding other individuals in that process. As you've noted, Ms. Renasser, at the beginning of your opening, you acknowledged the support that he had as relates to family members. He has a solid family support system that's backing him. And as Mr. Andrew Huntley has stated with the Louisiana Parole Project, support from the Louisiana Parole Project is a plus. And I'm going to come alongside in any way that I can spiritually to help Mr. Fuller if the board sees fit to grant his parole today. I will stand by him. I will encourage him. I will continue to be a spiritual support and a person that will speak directly to him and try my best to guide Mr. Fuller in a direction that is so needed in our society to help other individuals, other young people to get on the right path. We need a Mr. Fuller here in Baton Rouge or wherever the board sees fit for him to live, to help other young individuals see the destructive nature of their behavior and get on the right path. And I think Mr. Fuller will be a great person to fulfill those obligations. In conclusion, I want to say that Mr. Fuller's rehabilitation, his leadership, his strong family support system demonstrate that he's ready for parole and prepared for success upon his release. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to speak on behalf of Mr. Fuller. God blessings.
Thank you, Mr. Hicks. And there at Angola, we have Mr. Fuller's sister, April Rodman.
Thank you.
You can sit down.
Sit down, she can hear you.
They can hear.
Okay. Hello. My name is April Fuller Redmond, and I am the sister of James Lee Fuller. I am writing strongly support my brother's character. Having known James Fuller my entire life, I have maintained contact through phone calls and visitation during his time of being incarcerated. As I always remember, the role James upheld in my life as a big brother, I must say that has never changed. I am most proud of the many achievements James has been able to accomplish despite of his situation. Just to name a few, James has received his GED, welding certifications, taken fatherhood classes without even being a father. That alone represents the type of love James withholds within his heart for not only people, but children as well. I have personally observed him being active in the work release program and highly looked up to by other inmates during visits while at Angola prison. Leadership has always been instilled in James from our growing up days when our mother would have to leave for work and James was left in charge over my other younger sibling and I. Even as a young child, I have yet to witness James or even known of him to have had any altercations with anyone of any sort. There is one thing I know about James. Once he put his mind to it, he will do it. I recall one of our most important conversations we had was him getting to know God. James made me a promise that he would cast all his cares upon the Lord and seek to follow God's will for his life. Without a shadow of a doubt, James held on to that promise, and the proof of that is us here today on James' behalf at this parole hearing. Upon release, I am fully and faithfully committed to supporting James Lee Fuller's reintegration into society. My main focus would be to take James on a visit to our family's church, United Outreach in Bossier City, Louisiana, to allow him the opportunity to be reconnected to God first by baptism. Everything else will fall in place under God's will for James' life. Thank you for allowing me to speak on my brother's behalf.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for your remarks. Warden Ambo, could you tell us anything about Mr. Fuller?
Okay, I can tell you that Mr. Fuller, has been, a model inmate. He does have, paperwork saying that he completed a victim, impact letter. He just completed it on, 29th of January. I had it faxed over to you. Other than the welding, the STAR program, you know, he got his GED, Malachi Dad, what everybody else, you know, said to y'all and stuff like that. All I can say is that, you know, we have no problem here with James at, Louisiana State Penitentiary. And he has been a model inmate and he's ready to go back into society.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Lancaster, we'd like to hear your presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Renatza, Mr. Tillis, and Mr. Prater. As mentioned, James was 17 years old at the time the crime occurred. He spent 30 years here at Angola. He's now 47 years old. If you look at his time that he spent in prison, it does show a path where now he demonstrates maturity and rehabilitation. He's a Class A trustee here at Angola. That's the highest status, minimum status here. He is a resident of Camp F, which is the trustee camp. Since his last parole hearing, which was in 2020, he's done a number of things, and the committee at that time encouraged him to do more work, and he's done that. Primarily, he has participated in the STAR program, Substance Treatment and Recovery Program, and now he currently serves as a facilitator 4 days a week at the main prison for other people coming through that program. So it's been extremely impactful for him, and he's been able to share that with other prisoners who are entering that program. So I hope the committee has a chance to ask him some questions about his experience in the STAR program and as a facilitator. He's taken victim awareness. As mentioned, he's recently completed it. Thinking for a change again. He's got his carpentry certification since his last parole hearing, adding that to his welding certification, and he's continued to participate in Alcoholics Anonymous. All total, if you look at his institutional record, he's taken 13 programs that qualify for CTRP credit. Even though, you know, with his sentence, he doesn't accumulate CTRP credit, but he has taken those courses. He also volunteers for the Veterans Club at Camp F, which is a significant experience for him. He's not a veteran himself, but he's been doing that for a number of times, for a number of years. In that, he's found a sense of community. We know that juvenile lifers who have been released have been very successful on the outside. Part of that is the fact they have housing. Mr. Fuller will have that through the Parole Project. He'll have a job. The Parole Project will get him work. They also, you know, a sense of community. He's built that sense of community here at Angola, and that will continue on the outside. Another thing that I think is important just to note is the level of support he has, both family support and community support. Those at headquarters who are in full support of him, as well as his family here. And of course, he'll have the support of the Parole Project. People in the institution who know him, Lori Stone, who is the STAR program coordinator in Mr. Fuller's annual review, commented that Mr. Fuller exceeds expectations, is enthusiastic and trustworthy. Colonel Fuge, security supervisor, commented that Mr. Fuller is no security risk at this time and follows penitentiary rules. Sherry Barton, the ARDC supervisor, commented that Mr. Fuller is polite, respectable, dependable, friendly, and has a calm demeanor. Mr. Fuller, I think, demonstrates that he'll be successful on the outside, and we pray that this committee grants him parole to continue to serve the remainder of his sentence under supervision. in the community and continue to demonstrate that he is compliant with rules and has changed and will be successful. Thank you.
Thank you. And earlier, I failed to mention that we do have a representative from the Caddo District Attorney's Office, the Victim Assistance Coordinator, Miss Leona Fitzgerald, and she would like to speak in opposition, and we'd like to hear from you now, Miss Fitzgerald.
Good morning. Yes, I'm Leone Fitzgerald, and I'm here on behalf of the District Attorney, James Stewart, and the District Attorney's Office. Our office is opposed in this situation, and I do appreciate Mr. Fuller's comments and his acceptance of accountability for what happened. I don't want to go too deep into the facts of the case for that reason, but I do feel like I have to point out just how shocking and senseless this offense was. Mr. Willie Graham was a member of our community. This happened in broad daylight around 2:00 in the afternoon. There were eyewitnesses to this shooting, and I realized that he was 17 years old, but surely he knew at 17 that this was unacceptable. And basically, he chased Mr. Graham down as he ran away, and Mr. Graham was shot in the back twice. And he was still able to get up and run more for his life, and was able to flag down a stranger who drove him to the emergency room. So this was just sort of like stalking an animal, it seems. I'm glad to see that Mr. Fuller has his GED and has experience with welding, but I can't ignore his prison behavior, his 26 write-ups in the amount of time that he's been in prison. And yes, for the past 5 years or so, it looks like he has a clean disciplinary record, but it was terrible before that. And I couldn't help but notice that, Mr. Fuller was resentenced in 2016. And at that point, he became eligible for parole. And that is when there was a great uptick in his disciplinary behavior getting better. And also all of the programs, I'm looking at these certificates here and all the classes that he took. And that looks like that was in 2017. So my question is, what was Mr. Fuller doing from 1996 until 2016? Was he taking classes? I have 2 certificates of completion that predate 2017. I have copies of 15 certificates since 2017. So in my mind, that's not long enough. I do think that Mr. Fuller is on the right path. I don't mean to dismiss all the positive things that he's done, but this case is at the top of the list of the most heartless, dastardly murders that I've seen in all my years here. And so it's unconscionable to me how even a young person could plot to do this. This was not a youthful impulse. This was something that he and his co-defendant planned to do, and that he bragged to one of the eyewitnesses about, look, I'm going to go get me one. And so there were at least 8 shots fired, we know. The victim was hit twice. This was an adult crime. And just because his sentence has been amended to allow for parole consideration doesn't mean that he's entitled to it, and that he shouldn't have to work really hard and have a long proven record of his rehabilitation. So, Mr. Graham left behind a family. They're not on today, but he had people who loved him. He was known in the neighborhood. This traumatized a lot of people, eyewitnesses, neighbors who were just out in their yard raking leaves and became witnesses to a murder. A 2-year-old that had to be grabbed and rushed inside for cover whenever these shots rang out. The lady who was driving down the street and ended up taking Mr. Graham to the emergency room. So these are the kinds of crimes that are far-reaching in our community. And we just think that at this point, Mr. Graham's life was worth more than 30 years. And, we want to see more continued progress by Mr. Fuller. At this point, we think that parole would be premature. And, as I said, Mr. Graham deserved better than to leave this world at the age of 53 at the hands of 2 young men that were looking to earn a quick buck at the expense of another human's life. And so we heartily believe that now is not the time for Mr. Fuller. We feel at this point that parole would deprecate the seriousness of this crime and cause an undue risk to our community. So I do agree with something that Ms. Renatza said in the last hearing, that he is on a path forward, and we respectfully request that he be kept on that path forward from Angola. Thank you for giving me time to share my comments.
Thank you. We always appreciate hearing from the DA's perspective. Thank you. All right, Mr. Fuller, I have some questions for you. Your case was, as I said, assigned to me, so I'll take the lead on the interview. When did you first start using drugs? How old were you?
I was around maybe 11, 12 years old when I first got introduced to it.
What were you introduced to first?
Marijuana.
Any alcohol?
Yes, ma'am.
Same age?
Yes, ma'am.
And so, why did you have a gun that day? Did you always carry a gun?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. But that day is just, I guess coming up from where I'm from is just to have protection.
And that day was different for some reason. Well, because
Yes,
you said you didn't usually carry a gun,
no, ma'am.
but that day you just decided to do it.
Yes, ma'am.
Have you given that any thought?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, what you
A
think
lot.
about?
I think that I was so stupid as a young man. I think I made a lot of wrong decisions coming up in life as a young man. Decisions that today I see that they wasn't the right decisions.
Okay, so you say you got your GED, right, since you've been there?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
What grade did you finish in school? You said that particular day you skipped school. What grade were you in?
9th grade.
9th grade. All right. Had you repeated any grades?
Yes, ma'am.
Tell me about that. Which ones?
I think that's the grade I failed in 9th grade.
9th grade, okay. So when you had a hearing in 2020, I believe, as was mentioned, and what were the reasons you were told you were denied at that time?
I don't remember all the reasons, but I know at that time I was still in denial. I didn't take full responsibility for my actions. I didn't take full responsibility for using drugs. I was on drugs and I was in denial. I was ashamed. And I just felt I don't know. I just
So,
felt
so you're saying you were on drugs at as recently as 2020? Is that what you said?
I done used drugs since I've been here. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. When's the last time you did that?
Oh, I haven't did it now. It was before 2020, but I haven't done no drugs in years now.
Well, how many years? Most people know.
Since like maybe what, 2017, 18, somewhere up in there.
About the time you thought you might be eligible for parole. Is that what changed you? The hope?
I felt like I had hope again because I honestly thought that I was gonna die here. It's like nothing good has ever happened to me since I've been in the system, and I thought I was gonna die here. It's like I had no hope that this was my home.
Well, okay, so let's move on. I think that you were told at that hearing, I wasn't on that panel, but I looked at the record and I think you were told that you needed some substance abuse treatment, and the record
Yes,
shows
ma'am.
that you did you completed the STAR program. What'd you get out of that?
Oh, that was a life-changing event because through the STAR program, it taught me about recovery. It taught me about the core beliefs I had then as a kid and coming up now as a man. With the STAR program, a lot of men that have known me over the years here at Angola, they know my life then, even when I was smoking marijuana here. And they see the change in me now to where when they see me today, I get letters now asking me, what you did with your life? Man, how'd you change your life around like this? Look, man, I need some help. Man, help, whatever you doing, man, help me do this. And that makes me feel so good to be able to help another person because I know where you at, because I done been there. So look, come on, talk to me. And I will talk to them and I will introduce them to my facilitator. And we would do a survey on them. She would do a background check. And everybody, usually we wouldn't have number 8 people in the class. Right now we at 20. We don't go up under 20 because you have so many people from even the out of camps sending me word, telling me, man, I hear about what you're doing with your life. Man, I like what you're doing with your life. Man, how can I be a part of that? And I want to help because there's so many of my friends have OD'd up here and died off of drugs. And with the decisions I made as a youngster, now I can do something to help now. I can bring men this way. I can help get men off of drugs. That is a feeling I never thought I'd have, that I never thought I would love like this, to be able to help another man change his life.
Well, one of the questions I was going to ask you was tell me about your community service work. I think you just did that.
That was just a
And
part
also
of it.
your work with the vets.
Yes, ma'am.
That's
And
important.
a lot of times they might send a letter around the Camp F. We'll fill our name out to go over to Camp F and fellowship and talk to the brothers over there. We'll go over there and play them in basketball or flag football and sit down and eat with them and talk with them. I also do that. I also was getting with the brother Tyrone Glover. I became an active member of the round table with him. I asked him for help. Man, when I get out of here, can I help now? And if I'm eligible to get parole, will you help me when I get out there?
Okay, I have a couple of more comments, but I'm going to defer to my colleagues for any questions before I make those comments. Mr. Tillis, any questions? Ms. Prater?
Not really. I realized during the interview, the time you got most passionate was when Ms. Renata was talking to you about the STAR program and all the good that was, and you became a different person describing that. And
Because I love it.
Yes, sir, I can tell. And you've done some good work there. I want to congratulate you on that.
Thank you. I done helped so many men. I never thought I can do that. But the way I used to go to Ron Hicks and ask for help and he would help me, Now I'm in his shoes to where you got a lot of men coming to me. Now I can help you. I can talk to you because I done been where you at. And now I can help you get to this point now. So I always tell him, man, come on, man, talk to me. I always was good at talking to people.
I
Always.
can tell.
Yeah.
All right,
Never,
let us
I
talk.
never,
Hold on.
all right.
Didn't mean to start all that.
So, Mr. Fuller, I'm about ready to vote, but I wanted to make you aware of a couple of things. In
Yes,
the
ma'am.
record, we do have a letter from Mr. Willie Graham's daughter. This is what she has said. Her name is Tatiana Graham. Ms. Graham is unopposed to early release. She said, I believe he has served enough time on this crime. I love and miss my dad, but he has been gone for 30 years, and this guy was a kid when he shot him. I hope that he has learned his lesson and become a better person and will make something good out of his life if he gets out. How do you feel about that? All right, I understand. And so there's one other letter we have, and I feel compelled that I have to at least state it for the record. And this is from the state representative from District 4, that's Joy Walters. And she's written a very nice letter in support, saying that she believes, and this is just in paraphrasing in part, she believes in a justice system that not only holds individuals accountable, but also recognizes growth, rehabilitation, and the capacity for change. And I think we see that in you. So I'm ready to vote. Mr. Fuller, my vote today will be to grant your parole based on your work, the comments by the warden, the support that you have, and particularly that of the Parole Project. I think it's very important that if you are successful today, you don't go back to Caddo Parish. I know your sister or somebody said they wanted to take you to be baptized there. That's something that can be happening in the Baton Rouge area. And then when you finish with their programming, because they'll have some programming for you, I would require community service work, at least 8 hours a quarter, and that is to speak to at-risk youth.
Yes, ma'am. I would love to do that.
All right, I'm just one vote. Mr. Tillis.
I concur with Ms. Renata.
Mr. Prater.
Okay, this is a very difficult job, but somebody that with your behavior and your all the positives, you make it less difficult for us to make decisions. Because of your age at the time of the crime, because of the support from your family, the Parole Project's willingness to be involved, your behavior while you've been incarcerated, the victim letter, and the passion you've shown during your interview, my vote also is to grant this.
Your parole's been granted. Mr. Fuller, good luck. Our business at the penitentiary, we're going to sign off at 8:42. Thank you.
And then, good time. Yeah. We go from there. Yeah. Where's the, you can just, you can go ahead and keep eating if you want to. I know
Rapides. All right, good morning. Committee on Parole is reconvening. We're now at Rapides Detention Center. Today is Wednesday, February 4th, 2026. It's 10:55 a.m. Are there any, Mr. Frazier, are there any staff in the room there with you? Y'all are still on mute.
Yes, ma'am. Sergeant Marsh and Sergeant Steinmore here.
Okay, good. Thanks so much for accommodating us today. And Mr. Frazier, would you introduce yourself to us? Tell us your name and your DOC number.
Valere Dwayne Frazier,
What's your DOC number?
515578.
515578, is that what
Yes,
you
ma'am.
said? Okay,
Yes.
thank you. Do you have any paperwork there with you this morning?
Yes, ma'am.
And that's a parole revocation questionnaire?
Yes, ma'am.
Is that your signature at the bottom of that page?
Yes, ma'am.
So based on the information in that questionnaire that you answered those questions, you're not eligible for an appointed lawyer today. Are you ready to proceed without a lawyer?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So I'm going to read the allegations against you, after which you'll enter a plea of guilty or not guilty, and then we'll have a conversation about it, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
So this is a revocation, and you're accused of violating the conditions of your parole, and specifically condition number 2, and it states you've had no contact with probation and parole since October 2024. So how do you plead to violating condition number 2?
I'm guilty.
Okay. Then there's condition number 4, and that states you failed to refrain from criminal conduct in that you were arrested for the following offenses. On or about March 29, 2025, you committed resisting an officer and flight from an officer, possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. On or about January 29, 2025, you committed forgery. On or about December 9, 2024, you committed second-degree battery, and you committed brandishing a firearm and interfering with emergency communication. These charges are pending in Red River Parish. So how do you plead to violating condition number 4?
I'm guilty of, I'm guilty of flight. I'm guilty of that. But I'm not, the other charges, I'm not guilty of those charges.
So guilty to the flight, but not guilty to all the others.
Yes, ma'am.
Right? Condition number 5 states on or about March 29, 2025 and December 9, 2024, you were found to be in possession of a firearm. You were arrested, and those charges are pending in Red River Parish. So how do you plead to the possession of a firearm?
Not guilty.
And then, of course, number 10 has to do with your fees. You haven't paid any supervision fees, and you're in arrears $693. How do you plead?
Guilty.
Okay. So your case was assigned to me, so I'm going to take the lead on asking you some questions, Mr. Frazier. Tell us about your contact with law enforcement. So let's start with March of 2025. That's resisting an officer and flight from an officer in possession of a firearm. On that day, what happened?
That day, I was at my sister's house, and they told me I couldn't come there. I was living there for that night, and they told me I couldn't come there no more. After their daughter had did something, they had got mad behind their daughter, so I left from there, and I went down the street. And I was working working for my sister and them, doing a lot of work, and so I was eating there too. So I thought about it, and I went back there and I asked them what they mean that I couldn't come there. They said there's something that was going on with their daughter, which is my niece. And I told them that I ain't had nothing to do with it. So we had words or whatever, me and my sister and her old man. And I say, somebody just give me a ride away from there. So I wound up trying to pay somebody. And the person that I asked, they wouldn't take me. So the other person said they'll take me, so we left, and then my sister and them tried to block the road off. So we went around them, and they trailed us all the way to Ashland Road. And I was like, man, why they trailing us? You know, I tried to get up in trouble with them. So we got to the Ashland Road, they had called the police, I guess. It was on both sides of the road. So when we passed the police, they turned the lights on, and then they turned off in the yard. The driver of the truck turned off in the yard. I jumped out, and I took off and ran. And I jumped a fence, another fence, and another fence. And I went up under the house, and they came to the house behind with a field. They asked them, did they see somebody run there? And I told them, I didn't tell them, they told them no. So I was looking at them from under the house, and then they looked under the house and they shot me in the foot with a taser. So, and I cuffed them under the house, they told me to cuff them under there. And I was on the ground, and I wound up couldn't breathe. So they took me to the hospital, and they said that I was dehydrated or something. They had to put IVs and stuff in me. They was gonna run a catheter on me or whatever. So next thing you know, about 30 minutes, 40 minutes later, they said that they had a call come in from I guess the sheriff office, and told the guy that had arrested me to come back over there, and they went over there and they found a firearm in the yard. So they said that it was my firearm. Said that they wound the camera back and seen something going on.
Yeah. The owner of the home.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, on camera footage, you were seen throwing the gun as you run by the house.
Yes, ma'am. They said that on my paper right here, they said that they seen you while I was running by. I seen where it said that I have it over here too.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm just telling you that's the paperwork we have, that there's camera footage where you were seen throwing a gun. Let's move on. What happened in December of 24?
December 24?
Mm-hmm. Do you know Alicia?
That's my old lady. That's my old lady.
Okay, what happened with her December 24th? December 9th, I'm sorry.
We had an argument or whatever, and that was basically it. And I wound up leaving from out of the house. I was when I came there, I was already living there. That's my address. So when I got there, she was leaving or whatever, and then I asked her where she was going. She said where she was going. So she left and she came back, and we was in the house and we got in an argument. But she said that I had jumped on her. I never had a fight with her. We never fought. So I got mad like I was gonna fight her, but I didn't fight her. She could tell you she still talks to me to this day, but I ain't had no way of getting in touch with her to get in touch with y'all so she can give her side of the statement to y'all. She put minutes on the phone for me and stuff like that. She sent me money. She loved me. And she can tell you that she was mad and she called the police. She thought I was gonna hurt her or something.
Yeah, she said she was scared for her life.
Yes, ma'am. She said that, but if I had, I didn't have no way to get in touch with nobody because they turned the phones off and stuff here. Because of something going on in the jail, get into contact with somebody. I ain't had no way of getting out. I had asked the guards to give me a phone call. They wouldn't give me no phone call to send y'all, to send out the information to my family. My
you
mom
were
and
trying to get in
dad.
touch with her so she could participate today? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, ma'am. That's what I'm trying to say.
All right. Well, Mr. Frazier, I don't have any other questions. I'm going to ask my colleagues for their questions.
Yes, ma'am.
Go ahead, Mr.
Was it your gun that you were seen throwing on the video?
No, sir. I didn't
What
have.
gun was that?
That's not my gun, sir.
Was that you throwing it though?
No, sir.
Okay.
If you see the camera, if you got a camera, the police was running right behind me, sir. He got a body camera on, the police was running right behind me in that area where they said they found the gun at, right on me. The footage on the camera on the police officer body, when they jump out of the truck, what I'm on my understanding, when they merge the lights, the camera recording in the truck. And when they jump out, they have camera, body camera. So the spot where they said that they found a gun, the police officer told me where they found the gun at, he was running right behind me. He would have seen it.
Well,
He would have seen me throw it.
when you're on parole, you really not supposed to be running from the police, are you?
No, sir, but I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not gonna lie to you. I was high. I'm not gonna lie. I ran. I tell the truth. There's no reason to lie. I was high, so I didn't want to go to jail. That's why I ran.
What were you high on?
What was I high on? Methamphetamines.
You was on meth at that time?
Yes, sir. I'm not gonna lie to you, sir.
Well, I appreciate your truthfulness on that particular issue. That's all I got.
Mr. Tilley. All right, Mr. Frazier, I don't see any other questions. I think we're prepared to vote. I'm going to vote first. You pled guilty to the flight, and I find you guilty of flight. I also find you guilty of violating the other items listed in condition number 4, and that you were involved in criminal activity. You can deal, so my vote today is going to be to revoke for that reason. You can you go to trial later this month, you can deal with those issues at that time, but regardless, I find you guilty of being involved in criminal activity. Mr. Prater?
I concur, violations of conditions 2, 4, 5, and 10.
Mr. Tillis?
I concur with Renatza and Mr. Prater.
All right, Mr. Frazier, today your parole's being revoked, sir. We wish you well. Good luck.
Yes, ma'am.
And that concludes our business at Rapides. We'll sign off at whatever time it is. I can't see my clock.
11:07.
11:07.
Your name up there?
Yeah.
Where?
The middle one.
Right here? There you go.
It's on. It is 11:20. Today is February 4th, 2026. And our first case in Calcasieu, is there any staff there? Would the officer please introduce yourself for the record?
Talking to you.
Yes, ma'am.
Would you
My name is
enter
Deputy
your name for
Miles.
the record, please?
Yes, my name is Deputy Larry Miles.
Thank you. Thank you, Deputy Miles, for accommodating us today. And is
Yes,
this
ma'am.
is it Mr. Porsche?
Yes, ma'am.
Would you tell us your name? Tell us your name and DOC number, please.
My name is Peyton Porche, DLC number 625813.
All right, thank you, sir. And I see you have some paperwork there with you. Is that your parole revocation questionnaire?
Yes, ma'am.
Is that your signature at the bottom of that page dated November 7th, 25?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Based on that information, you're not eligible for us to appoint you a lawyer. So are you ready to proceed today without a lawyer?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you. Your case this morning, Mr. Porsche, has been assigned to Mr. Prater, seated to my left. I'm going to turn it over to him.
Yes, sir. Mr. Porsche, how are you today?
I'm a little nervous, but I'm all right.
Okay, I can understand. I'd hate to be there too. What we're going to determine today is if you violated some of the conditions of your parole that you agreed to when you got out. You signed a waiver or signed a sheet agreeing to the 10 or 13 different conditions, and we're going to try to determine if you violated any of those conditions, whether to revoke your parole or not. And your condition is number 4, that you got involved in criminal conduct. The way I read the report is it happened at a comedy show, and you were in
Yes,
the
sir.
audience of the comedy show. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Would you tell us a little bit about what was going on at the comedy show and how the police got involved?
Well, it was me and my girlfriend, Kedra Gode, and I told her it was more, I don't know if I'm supposed to say it, it was more like of a sexual gesture, if I may say that. It wasn't like me hitting her or anything, you know what I'm saying? And I just told her I was going to the bathroom in a sexual way. I guess that's the best way I can put it. And somebody in the back crowd thought I was actually being aggressive toward her. And I guess they called the police and said that I was, I guess, hitting her or something. I'm not really sure. The charge was dropped. Like it wasn't. I didn't have to go to court for it or anything. They rejected the charge.
Yes, sir. You're correct. The charges, the DA did drop the charges, but what we're involved in is what we're trying to determine is, was there criminal conduct involved, which would be a violation of your contract. Whether the DA prosecutes it or not, we need to determine if there was some kind of criminal conduct that was involved. And there was more to it at the comedy shop or comedy show than just you were getting up to go to the bathroom and somebody thought you were being aggressive, wasn't there?
I mean, I told her, I told her something sexual when I was going to the bathroom, you know, and but I had I didn't choke her. I put my hand under her chin and I lifted her head up toward me because she was sitting on a chair and I was standing up. And that's the only way I can really describe it. That's what happened.
Okay, well, some of the witnesses said you were drunk and making a fool of yourself.
I was intoxicated. I spilled a drink too, but I wasn't aggressive toward my girlfriend.
Okay, and I'll just I'm just gonna tell you what some of the other witnesses said and what was in the police report. Said that you were boxing the air kind of towards her and that you were put your hand around her neck and pulled her hair. Now that's,
Well, that was another time
I wasn't there. I'm not accusing you of doing that. But I'm just asking and telling you what was said. Now, what do you have to say about that?
The time you said I was pulling her hair, I was standing behind her and she was also sitting down in a chair, and I pulled her ponytail to where like make her head kind of go like this, and she was looking up at me, and I said, "I'm going to get another drink. Do you want another one too?" That's the time when she said I pulled her. They said I was pulling her hair. I've never hit a woman. I was never aggressive toward her. I mean, I did spill a drink in the bar. It was at a like a bar, but not actually in the bar. They had a side room at the bar where the comedy show took place at. And I mean, I don't know any other way to explain it. That I've never hit a female, and it's
Okay.
First time in my life that I've come to jail on a misdemeanor.
All right. Well, let's let you off the hook for just a second, and let's hear from somebody that's in support of you, and then we'll come back and I'll finish up any questions I have, and my colleagues will, and we'll make our determination.
Yes, sir.
Miss Linda Pleacher, or Pleicher, your mother would like to say something. Miss Pleicher, are you on the air with us?
Oh, she's in Baton Rouge.
I think she's supposed to be physically there with y'all.
Yeah, she's in Baton Rouge. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, all right. There she is at the podium. And
can you see me?
yes, ma'am.
Okay.
I can't.
I'm here, baby. My name is Linda Fleischner. I'm the mother of Peyton, and I would like to first of all thank you for the opportunity to speak this hearing on his behalf. Peyton has been incarcerated at the Calcasieu Correctional Center on a domestic charge that the local DA did not accept charges for. On the night in question, Xandre even informed law enforcement that Peyton has never put his hands on her in anger, and the police report apparently even states that there were no marks on her. I want to make it clear that I'm not here to in any way make an excuse for his past. My son is a lot of things. He's done drugs, sold them, he's stolen to support his habit, and he deserved every single day that he spent in prison for all of those things. The one thing that he is not is a woman abuser. He grew up witnessing me get beaten, and I'm very proud to say that none of my boys have ever put their hands on a woman. As adults, they have all told me how helpless they were watching me get abused and not being able to do anything to help me. If I thought for 1 minute that Peyton put his hands on Xandre, I would still be here at this hearing today, speaking to you. But I would be telling you to keep him. For the first time in my son's life, I'm gonna stand beside him, because this is the first time in his life that I feel confident in his innocence. I was always the parent that tried to get law enforcement to arrest him. I begged judges to lock him up. I'm the one who called the cops and pressed charges. But I'm here right now to speak to you about the man he is today. Sorry. Since being released from prison, he has obtained employment and he has great standing with his employer. He literally does nothing but work and spend time with his kids. I have seen him with his girls and they idolize their daddy. When he's not working, he's with them, taking them to the park and doing things with them. And he is trying so hard to make up for the time that he lost when he was incarcerated. And I don't know how many conversations we had where he said how proud he was of himself for finally supporting his family legally without breaking any laws. And I'm proud of him for how far he has come. This is also first time in his adult life that he and I have a healthy mother-son relationship. Peyton is not the same person that the state of Louisiana locked away. He has acknowledged over and over again that his time in prison has taught him life lessons and that he never wants to be that person again.
Okay.
He's also stated that his relationship with Kadra has made him want to be even a better man. I have met Kadra. I communicate with Kadra. And he has stated to me numerous times that she has never been in a relationship with someone that actually treats her as well as Peyton does. She has actually told me that I did a good job raising him.
Yes, ma'am. Well, we appreciate those words and the support that you've shown and what you've had to say about your son. And we appreciate that, and we'll take that into consideration as we ponder what to decide.
Yes.
Let's see, we have a couple of other people, but they're not going to be speaking. Christiana Parole and Lacey Borrell, who is a future sister-in-law, but they're not going to be speaking, is my understanding. Okay, and I think it needs to be noted, not just the bad stuff, but I also need to note that that at the time that the police were called, and when the police did show up at the comedy show, you're the quote victim, what we're calling the victim. Kadra signed that at the scene that she wished no charges to be filed, and that her airway was not blocked at all, and there was no physical abuse. So I got to say the good with the bad. You know, I want you to know that she did say that. Do you have any questions to ask?
Did you
Now,
put your hands around her neck?
no, I put my hand under her chin. I didn't put my hands around her neck. I put my hand like this and lifted her chin up because she was sitting down. That's what they're saying when I put my hand around her neck. But it was in no way, shape, or form to stop her from breathing or anything.
Why isn't she here talking to us?
She submitted she emailed her statement in there, but she just started a new job and at First Federal Bank, and they signed her she had to sign some kind of like contract saying she wouldn't call in, or she was going to be here, but she can't call in or take off for the first 90 days of her employment. But she did email us her statement to one of y'all's emails.
Yes, we got that.
But she was going to physically be there until she had got her new job, and they told her she couldn't take off.
Okay, I don't have any other questions.
I think we're prepared to vote, Mr. Prater.
Okay, all right, Mr. Porche. Sometimes catch myself wanting to lecture you, but I don't want to lecture you because that's not my place. But you're a fourth offender. Fourth class.
I do understand.
You know, and that looks bad. You've been on parole, you've been on probation. You know what that's all about and how you're supposed to act. I don't think this meets the criteria, in my estimation, that you should be violated. But here comes the lecture part. You don't have any business being in a club, drunk, touching her in a way that others thought it might be aggressive, and being aggressive toward or belligerent towards the police. So you're dancing on a line that, whereas others can maybe dance on that line and it's not that big of a deal, when you're on parole, you can't dance on that line. You have to avoid the appearance of impropriety. Try to say those words over and over in your head when we get through this hearing. Avoid the appearance of impropriety, because as you've been in jail for a number of weeks or months now, you see how easy it is to violate your parole, and you're looking at 2030 if we violated you. But so sorry.
I know what I need to do.
But I want you to do well. But my vote is not to revoke you today. That is my vote, not to revoke you, but to give you a stern warning and to stay away from drugs and stay away from alcohol and stay away from anything that's gonna make people think that you're doing wrong.
I've been sober almost 3 years off of drugs now, sir.
Mr. Tillis?
I concur with Mr. Prater.
He said alcohol, too. You
Yeah,
were
alcohol.
belligerent, you were
I know.
drinking.
Yes.
I'm not asking for a comment, I'm just telling you. I
Oh,
do
yes,
agree
ma'am.
with Mr. Prater. I don't think this rises to the level of a revocation, but I do agree with the stern warning. Continue your sobriety away from drugs. Stay away from the alcohol, too. You apparently can't handle it.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Good luck to
Thank
you.
you. That's it.
Hello?
All right, we're ready for Mr. Patterson. Good morning.
Good morning.
How you doing today?
Doing good.
All right. Would you tell us your name and DOC number, please?
I can't hear you.
Tell us your name and DOC number.
John Patterson, and my DOC number is 707-224.
Yeah, I hear an echo in the room. Can you sit up so we can see you? There you go. Perfect. Thank you. Can you just speak up a little louder? You don't have to get by the microphone.
Yes, ma'am. It's John Patterson and 707-224.
All right, thank you, sir. And I think do you have some paperwork there with you?
Yes, ma'am. I have this.
Yes, that's a parole revocation questionnaire. And at the bottom of that page, is that your signature dated November 6th?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Based on that information, you're not eligible for us to appoint you a lawyer. So are you ready to proceed this morning without a lawyer?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, this morning your case has been assigned to Mr. Prater, so I'm gonna turn it over to him.
Okay, Mr. Patterson, let's see, we need to talk about a situation that occurred where you were arrested for violation of a protective order, which is a serious offense in itself, and it's a violation of condition 4. Did you violate that condition? Did you violate a protective order?
I don't think I did, because in my behalf, we thought that it was over. Like, we thought that the violation wasn't on me anymore. And plus, it says in the paperwork, it says that my sister's able to be there or whatever while I'm helping her with my kids. And she just had went to the store. But the only reason why the cops was called, like, they ain't want to come to the house or whatever, but I had asked them to come to the house because my other baby mama, apparently she had called the laws and told them that me and my girlfriend Jamie Rickman had touched my kids.
Okay. For purposes of clarity, we're talking about 2 different women, both of them the mothers of your child or children, correct?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir.
Okay, and you were at one place with one woman and some children, and at another place, the mother of one of the children that you had in your custody called the police to the other lady's house where you were and reported that you had violated a restraining order. Is that correct?
I don't think that she had called and said that I violated a restraining order. I don't know the case or whatever, but the only, the cops ain't want to come to the house or whatever. I had asked them to come to the house for me and my girlfriend's safety, because prior she had said that she was going to get me and my girl locked up on purpose, and that she's going to make my kids say that we touched our kids.
Okay.
And I had told my parole officer about it like a couple weeks, and he had told me just to stay on her good side and to stay away from her, which I did.
Okay. So, but I am right about the fact that the lady at the other house called the police.
Yeah, it wasn't Jamie Rickman.
It wasn't the ladies whose house you were at. And you talked to the police on the phone and then even invited them over because you wanted them to come get it straight. Is that correct?
Yeah, I had called them over because I was worried about me and my girlfriend's safety. Because she had said something about, she was telling them that she was gonna make my daughter say that I stuck my stuff inside of him.
Okay, and once the police got there, they realized that there was a restraining order that you were in violation of, but it's because that Jamie, it's because Jamie had not filled out the rest of the paperwork to dissolve the protective order. Is that correct?
Apparently, yes, sir. But they ain't I feel, because prior to that, we had got stopped before, and I was never arrested prior to that when she was bringing me to work and stuff like that. But I feel like the only reason why the man had arrested me is because it was the same officer. It was the same officer who I had problems with when I was in jail. He's on the streets now.
Okay. All right. Well, I watched all the video and lengthy body camera footage, and you were very cooperative with the police, and your demeanor was very.
Can I say something, please? Before in my past, I really wasn't cooperating with the people and stuff like that, but I have 6 kids that gotta look up to me. I don't want to cause no harm to nobody or anything, so I did everything I was supposed to do this time, which it kind of messed up my head and stuff like that, because I thought I was doing the right thing.
Okay. So, and then the restraining order that you're charged with violating was actually, and you were arrested, I think, on 10/29 of 25, and your wife, the other lady, she went down and finished up resolving the paperwork or finishing the paperwork, and it actually was resolved that same day, correct?
Yes, sir, and the charge was rejected, which means the charge was dropped. So the only thing I have is the parole detainer.
Yes, sir, I understand that. But see, even no matter what the DA does with his end of the charges, we still have to determine, because sometimes there may be enough that doesn't reach the criminality, but it does reach the point to where we can determine that you violated some criminal activity. But I don't really have any other questions. I've read this case a lot of times and wrestled with it.
So, you were released in 2024?
Yes, ma'am.
And since your release, on good time, how many other arrests have you had that were domestic related?
I haven't had no arrest at all, and I was 8 days short of the early parole release date. I had 8 days left until I was going to be done with parole.
Okay, so prior to your incarceration, you had some domestic issues and some other protective order violations?
I don't believe, no, ma'am, I don't believe so. Well, you said prior to the time I did in jail.
Yeah, prior to your jail time.
Till this time I got arrested?
No.
Like wait, so you're asking have I ever had a period?
Yeah.
With the other lady, with the other one I have, but that's the same one that put me in jail, but she only put me in jail because I had like two, I ain't want to be with her and I
What
had
I'm
2
trying to get
kids.
at is that those incidents were prior to the reason you're on parole, right?
I'm not
Yeah,
sure.
I think you've already answered my question. I don't have any more. I'm sorry if I confused you.
Yeah, I'm confused right now because I'm not sure. I'm lost.
All right. Are we prepared to vote, Mr.
I'm
Prater?
ready to vote. Okay, Mr. Patterson, I want to tell you kind of like I did that last fella. I'm not your daddy, and I'm not here to lecture you or anything like that. But you are on parole, and you are a third-class offender, so you've been around the block. You won't know what it's like. And Jamie, the one that had the restraining order against you, she had it against you for some reason.
It was because we couldn't come together on our kids. It wasn't because of her. It was because of our kids.
Yes, sir. Let me talk, please, sir. Had the restraining order against you from an incident that occurred in April that she called your parole officer about on a domestic abuse. She didn't call the police. You weren't arrested, but the parole officer said if he did anything to you or anything like that, be sure and get a restraining order. So she got a restraining order against you. And then she went to have it dropped because y'all made back up. And before she had completed all the paperwork, you got caught over there. And so it puts us in a situation of, at first it's easy to say, well, she just hadn't completed the paperwork, but you got to think back through it and say she had it for a reason. So I don't think that I don't see any evidence of you doing anything but violating a protective order that was officially taken off that very day. And so it makes me nervous not to revoke you, but I want to give you a benefit of the doubt. Okay?
Yes, sir.
And so you realize how easy it is to get locked up, don't you?
Yes, sir.
I mean, when you're on parole, we got eyes on you. And when I say we, I mean the whole system has eyes on you. Society and everybody else saying you agree to these certain conditions, abide by them. And this is going to be your second, third, fourth, fifth chance or something. But I don't like this. I don't like to revoke you on such iffy facts here. So my vote is not to revoke you.
Yes, sir.
I can present my argument. I concur with Mr. Prater.
My vote today, based on the evidence that we have also, is do not revoke. So we're going to return you to supervision, sir.
Thank you so much.
All right, we're ready for, to wrap it up. Mr. Myers, would you introduce yourself, sir? Tell us your name and DOC number. Y'all are still on mute.
My name is Joseph Myers,
Can you
DOC.
speak up a little bit? We can't hear you.
My name is Joseph Myers, DOC number 591184.
All right, Mr. Myers, you have some paperwork there with you?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, that's your parole revocation questionnaire. Is that your signature at the bottom of that page?
Yes, ma'am.
So based on that information, you're not eligible for an appointed lawyer today. Are you ready to proceed without one?
Yes, ma'am.
Right, so we're here for a revocation decision. Your case has been assigned to Mr. Tillis, seated to my right. He's going to ask you some questions.
Yes, ma'am.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Mr. Myers, how are you?
I'm doing good. And yourself?
Good. We have a violation that you have been accused of. Violation number 4. It is alleged you failed to not engage in any criminal activities, this being evidence from your arrest by the Calcasieu Parish Sheriff's Office on 6/9/2025 for failure to register and notify as a sex offender or child predator. The charges are failure to register and notify as a sex offender or child predator under docket CLC number 10370-25 are still pending. Your jury trial is 5/18/26. How do you plead?
My lawyer, I spoke with my lawyer, and my lawyer told me that he is getting with the DA on dropping the charges to a misdemeanor. Nothing was said yet on that. And
We're asking you to plead to the violation of your parole condition, not what's going to happen in court. So we need you to enter a guilty plea or not guilty plea to violating condition number 4.
I mean,
and then you can tell us all that other stuff that you want us to know.
I mean, there's no going around it. I got arrested. I failed to register my vehicle before operating it.
Okay, so your plea to violating condition number 4 is guilty based on what you just said. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, we'll talk about it.
Do you want to make a statement about it?
Sir?
You want to make a statement about it? Tell us something about it. What happened?
Yes, sir. First I was down here in Lake Charles, and then I transferred to Sulphur to be closer to my job. And I never had a vehicle, so I'd walk to work, 30 minutes to work, walking 30 minutes back, walking back to my apartment. And my aunt and uncle found out that I was in Sulphur, and they asked me, how do I get to work and how do I get around? And I told them I walk. And they have their daughter and her husband had a vehicle, a 2009 Honda Accord, and they put the insurance, they paid, on the insurance, they paid May 1st of $151, and then they paid for the first months of my insurance because I couldn't afford the insurance. May 1st, I went to the DMV Southern Title with their daughter's husband, and we did the paperwork to turn the title and the registration of the car and everything into my name. I never received the car until the 3rd week of May. My uncle kept the car because the air conditioner and the oil gasket seal was broken, so he had to replace it. When he brought me the vehicle, I told my mama that I couldn't drive the car due to the parole recommendations and due to my offense and my charge. It states that I cannot operate a vehicle 3 days prior to registering the vehicle. So my mom would drive me to work. My mom would take me everywhere. June 9th, my friend Keely August, she worked at Citgo, and my mom overslept and she was supposed to take her to work, and she asked me, she's like, can you run me to work right quick? I gotta be there at 6 o'clock. And spur of the moment, sir, I jumped in the car and ran her to work. And I was coming up Begless, the south side of Begless, and I stopped at the first red light. I didn't even see the second red light behind it, and I ran it. And I seen the blue and white lights, and I pulled over. And he asked me for my registration and my license. I gave it to him. And then he came back and asked me to step out. And he asked me the conditions of everything. And I told him. And he said, you don't have this car registered. And I told him, yes, sir. I was supposed to go June the 12th to see my parole officer.
Okay, thank you, sir. Any of my colleagues got any questions?
I don't have any.
No.
I'd like to go into executive session.
Okay.
I'll second. Any objection?
I'll third.
All right, we'll be in executive session for just a few moments, Mr. Myers. We'll be right back.
Yes, ma'am.
This case.
I'll make the motion that we return to regular session. Is there any objection? All right, we're back in regular session. It's 12:08 p.m. Mr. Myers, we are prepared to vote, and Mr. Tillis will be voting first.
My vote's gonna be today is to continue this hearing and allow a bond until your court date.
Mr. Prater?
I concur.
So my vote is the same. So we're gonna continue the hearing. We're gonna allow you to bond out so that you can go deal with those charges, and once those are, whatever happens, we'll see you again after that.
Yes, ma'am.
Unless
Thank
they're
you.
disposed of.
Thank you.
All right, good luck. Go take care of your business.
Yes, ma'am. Thank y'all.
All right, and that concludes our business for the day. We're gonna adjourn. It's 12:09.